folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the GRDE SX-990. These are a pair of retractable wireless Bluetooth headphones, which sells on Amazon for sub $35. We've actually already reviewed the SX-991, so it's almost going backwards a little bit and checking out the 990, but you can see that the style is clearly derived from the LG Tone, which came out a few years ago. Essentially, this entire thing sits on your collarbones, and then the ear tips themselves are extremely lightweight. They're just like any typical in-ear cell headphones that you can easily pop in, and that reduces the weight of this design and also has the spacing for a larger capacity battery, so it's a bit more comfortable to use for long-term listening, especially if you're on an airplane or something. Otherwise, the design here comes in a few different colors. We have this interesting contrast between the neon green and the blacks here, and it also includes a microphone so you can answer and reject phone calls when you pair it with an Android or iOS device. And you can see it's a hands-free solution that uses Bluetooth, which means it works with your iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. So again, some basic information. Charging takes about 3.5 hours to complete using a standard micro USB cable, and afterwards has a standby time of around 300 hours, and music time, which is rated at 16 hours, and we got roughly 13 in our testing, which is still, again, extremely good compared to the average for Bluetooth headsets, which is around 8 hours. So again, a larger spacing for the battery. Inside the packaging, there's access to a nice hardshell carrying case, which is a great value, again, for such a low cost. And in here, there's access to the aforementioned micro USB cable for charging, a quick user guide tells you how to set things up and to pair it, some spare silicone tips to get a more comfortable fit, and finally we have just the SX-990s themselves. Let's take a quick look at the design of these headphones. So again, essentially this part is worn on your neck, so it's on your collarbone, and then the actual ear tips can be pulled out just like regular earphones, and they just stick into your ears. So it's pretty comfortable to wear, and taking a quick look at the build, it's made mostly out of the soft touch rubber material, which doesn't attract that much fingerprints and makes it look pretty clean even after you use it for a while. There are a few aluminum accents on the hinges just to make it a bit more sturdy, but otherwise you can see that the build here is mostly made out of plastic, although the in-ear tips here are also made out of aluminum and metal. So the places where you always will be contacting and touching it, it's made out of a sturdier material. We can see here that as far as controls are concerned, they're located on the spine of the unit. You have access to pretty tactile keys for navigating the volume, in addition to tapping on answer or reject for phone calls, and it also dubs the play pause key. On the very top here, you have access to a flap that covers a micro USB port for charging, and on the other side, you have access to a dedicated on-off switch that you use to turn the entire unit on, and there are two latches here which you can tap on to retract the ear tips completely. I like the design of the SX-990 because they have this retractable wire design, which I think is more elegant than magnetic counterparts that we've also seen in the past, since those magnets wear off really easily if you attach it using magnets, and as you start using it and kind of bang the headsets around, they lose their sensitivity, and after a while the ear tips just always fall loose. But with this mechanical design, it's a lot easier to kind of pop everything back in, and it stays in place really well. Even if you shake it, it doesn't get loose or lost, and of course everything tucks away again for easy traveling and handling. So if we discuss a little bit about the quality of the sound next, these are definitely consumer grade low-cost earphones. They sound reasonably clean and loud, so if you're playing back pop music or electronic music, they do a pretty good job, but they're by no means high-fidelity audiophile grade headsets, which is, again, to be expected. But compared to other headsets in the same price category, I would say it does a respectable job. Even turning the volume all the way up or all the way down, I couldn't hear that much static or distortion in the background. You typically hear a little bit of a hissing with wireless Bluetooth headsets, and you don't really find that with these, which was a nice surprise when I was testing them out. Otherwise, they can still sound a little bit tinny if you are playing volumes at super high ends of the frequency, and it has a bit of bass as well, but it isn't super bassy, so if you're someone who always listens to rock music or listens to tons of beats, then these do a respectable job, but obviously you can see the driver size isn't huge, so just be aware of that. But overall, they're pretty well balanced, I would say. As far as the design is concerned, again, this isn't the first time that we've seen a Bluetooth collarbone style headset, and in my opinion, it works pretty well. It's comfortable to wear. It's technically classified as an in-ear style Bluetooth headset because of the design of these ear tips, but it takes design cues from a typical headset and has a sturdier overall definitely recommended, even though they don't sound quite as clean and bassy as the original LG tones, but it's also 2 times less in terms of its price, so you are getting a better value here if you don't care about that name brand. I like the styling as well. The neon green and other accents which you can customize and pick from is a lot more funky looking than other headsets in the same price category, which is nice to note. Construction good, sound quality decent for this price range, nothing exceptional, but again, if you're looking for a low-cost wireless Bluetooth headset, this is definitely something to consider, especially if you're listening to music for longer periods of time and you don't want the weight to always hang on a piece by your ear, and you want it to be a bit more distributed on your neck. Otherwise, you can also place phone calls with these. The microphone quality is actually pretty decent, even though it's not noise canceling, which means that if you are outdoors and there's a ton of ambient sound in the background, it doesn't cancel that out, but it works relatively well if you're indoors and in a relatively good conference environment. So anyways, guys, that's been our quick review of the SX-990 Bluetooth in-ear style headset with this collarbone design, and you can check out more details in our official written review. But for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.